But yeah, I mean, it's amazing compared to the last video. Yeah, I see multiple skaters, so there must be a way in. Oh, here, skate park entrance. Cool. All right, so as far as skill space, this is really iffy, to say the least. This is also very unusual to have a high power line, like within, what, 2 feet, a foot of the sidewalk. That is highly unusual. I've never seen anything like that. Wow, 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 wow. So yeah, it's, you know, they're really doing a ton of work, and you can see it in the other video. I guess you just search for, should say, the turf. It's one of the earlier ones. So I don't know. Kind of doing minimal like organization. Maybe I could. I don't know what. I could make a playlist, I guess. Like maybe if there's enough videos, I'll do like a Chicago, Milwaukee playlist. So all the videos that have something to do with Chicago and Milwaukee, because probably there's not enough for Milwaukee alone. Anyway, you can also like put the same video in multiple playlists. So this is right. So skill space. No, you know, we don't need. You know, it's also like when you're near the skate park. You know, there's a much better places. I've said it a number of times. Like, it's nice to do a visibility spot for like 3 minutes, even 2 minutes, really. Even a minute, it does make a difference. It does make a difference. It'll change the tone of your skill, one way or the other. Even a minute, or even, you know, I mean, sometimes I don't know if less than a minute is gonna be tough. You gotta like compose yourself and like take that moment, you know. So it's not like it's like have that moment. But when you do it, 1 minute, whatever it is, 2 minutes, and don't do it in like some. You got to do it in a spot that's like a good spot. And there's tons of spots, so you have to like figure that out. Like, what's a good spot? Like, it's for the visibility spot. The visibility spot should be, you know, in a place that you're not going to lose your equipment to any, you know, to the environment, you know, dropping it, etc. Wind blowing it away. It shouldn't be in a place where it's, you know, it should be in a place where if someone sees you, because it's a visibility spot, if they're passing in a car, if they're passing somewhere, they should be like, there should be no question. They should be like, oh, that's pretty cool. And then, and like, that's it. Like, they shouldn't be like, oh boy, this person's, you know, about to fall or do something dangerous or anything. It should just be like, well, that's neat, you know. So if you're in a place where it's sort of generating anything other than, oh, it's neat, like, oh, look at that, that's like probably the wrong place. All right, we were up on this hill before, so this is like something that hasn't been like touched yet. And I was saying that this could be a good spot. I mean, the other thing is probably to look back on that video and see what the grasses and everything was like back then. But so this is a spot. I mean, this is a decent spot too, just because like that visibility. Now you're up on this hill, you're away from the skateboard part. Like, you don't want to be on top of the skaters, on top of, like, on the park itself. You don't want that. It's not what we're here to do. We want to find spaces that can accommodate our skill near the park, but not on the park, and not crowding the park. So here's this, I think this whole structure here was not here last time. So that's a brand new addition for what's going on here. And so that's coming together. That looks like maybe some restrooms and a place for some shade. Pretty neat. And here we are back at the park. I'm not going to go over everything unless I see anything new, because we've already touched on pretty much all these features in the previous video. For those who are interested, it was about, I know it was winter, so it might have been like 6 months ago. Yeah. I mean, the other thing, just to stress it or say it again, is, and I probably wouldn't come out to just any, I wouldn't come out just for any skate park, but this is really one of the most important skate parks in America, and as a result, probably one of the most important skate parks in the world. I'm not talking about the number 1 or 2 or 3, but probably in the top. I would say top 30 pretty confidently, and I would say maybe even in the somewhere around 20. It depends what you look for, what you value in a skate park. Here's the spot that, looking at everything we've seen so far, this might not be, if you were, the other thing is you're on a dip, you're on a slant here, so it's not ideal. If you were doing some bean bags or something, something small, a little bit of a small space, this spot right here is it kind of evens out. So yeah, you could actually, now you're a little bit too close to these trees, you got like insects in the area, maybe not that good. This spot right here is not like terrible. So if you were to come out here, and you could probably pass 6 clubs. The only thing is, here's the, now that I think about it, and I haven't really put this together, is that you could pass 6 clubs out here, okay? But when you start throwing doubles and triples and doing stuff that's more complicated, body throws and everything, it starts to widen out, and you don't want the stuff to get down there. So you've got to be, now if you're doing balls, if you're passing balls, like some bean bags or stuff that doesn't roll away that easy, that would be, like, this would be a good spot. Also, anything that's attached to, like, kendama, probably poise stuff that that's not, like if you want to do a top hat, a bowler hat, stuff that doesn't, like, fly away. If you keep it contained, another way of, one way to think about it is that think of it this way: if your equipment touches the concrete of the skate park area, just imagine that it's gone. You just don't want to do that. So here's a shot of this bowl. Pretty severe. Pretty severe features here. For document purposes, you got that drain down there. It looks like well fitted. Also, like, the bowls are starting to crack, but they're also, you can see they're being filled in already. It's what happens to parks. Like, over time, there's wear and tear, and there's especially in an environment like this where the seasons are warm and then hot, and that's expected, and that's a challenge. That is a challenge to park designers and people who want to keep their parks in good condition. They also have a historic Route 41 sign here. So we just on 41, we saw those signs. It's pretty neat. So that's a nice little spot. Maybe a little bit of sun protection, rain, almost like a bus stop. But ain't no bus coming through here. Except for, oh yeah, and then here's boom. Right. The billboard. So yeah, that spot right there is like, for very small stuff that you're confident is not going to go on the skate park. I think that'd be okay. But it might be superseded by, if you're doing this now, you're like, I got to go out there and do it now. It might be superseded by this area, but this is also on like a slant over here. It's on a dip. Looks like there might be some sort of, that's tech decks are probably a skill. I don't think anyone would argue with that. So add that to the list. Tech decks. A lot of construction. So this area right here, look, you got the drains. You must stay away. The drains. When you see a drain, it usually means more moisture. It's going to be wet. Don't want to get the equipment wet. So this is. I think this stuff. I think this was out here. I'll have to review this. It looks a little bit different. Something that seems different to me on this whole like kind of street course area. But look at this. Look at this as a compared to the other parks we've seen. Like, look, this is a really like from here all the way out to here. Like that is a really long distance for a street course. You're hitting like. They've got obstacles like they got one area of obstacles, 2 area of obstacles, maybe another 3, 4, 5. You're hitting 5 like rows of obstacles, like before you're getting to the other side of the from quarter to quarter. It's just massive. It's also cool to see skaters out here right now, like the dedication, even on like a hot day, and with the park like kind of not exactly open completely, even though the signs are here. And then here's another look at those bowls again. Look at these bowls. They're just, you're not gonna see this like anywhere else. And then also to figure that like, basically these are the same bowls that were here in the late 70s and 80s. And like, if you take a list of who skated here, you're basically skating in the same form, concrete, the forms as Tony Hawk and company. So, like, that's just, that's probably one of the most, obviously amazing things about this park is that you're doing that. You're like in the same physical space, like 40 years later, like in their footsteps. Amazing. And it also kind of shows, it really puts on display like the